Hi everyone again, and for this speed paint we're continuing the speed paint from last time. So I'm recoloring the nugget horns here. So this is for my friend who I will not name for their privacy because I haven't asked them if I should name them in the video or not. But they did allow me to put the character in the video. So the bucket tool, it was kind of messing with me a little bit, but I fixed it. And then I realized I needed the symmetry tool again, so I added those little guidelines again that I always add. You always need those guidelines if you can't set the symmetry tool back to default, which I still don't know how to do that. Please let me know how to do that because there's no option to. So yeah. Anyway, I went on to coloring the face, and yeah. So for interesting detail, I decided to add stars, but I didn't know how to draw stars well, so I had to do the Satan star. Sadly, yeah, it didn't work out well. I wanted to put it on the cheeks, but it didn't work out well the first time. So then I decided to do it again on the cheeks, and it didn't work either, and it didn't look right. So I put it on the head instead, where it was symmetrical. And I think it looks way better now, honestly, when it's on the head. It looks like a wish dragon, honestly, which was kind of like the point of the speed paint. They said I could modify it however I want to, and I decided to make it like a little wish dragon instead. Now for the backside, since I haven't really set a sharp point at the backside, I didn't really have like a guideline on where to go, so I had to use the coloring to set the guideline so I could like color the behind and such. So yeah. And this is like the point where I add this little guideline to the head, except I did it on a different layer for some reason. So I merged it together and now it's part of the head. So yeah. I decided, since it was a wish dragon, I'm gonna put the star on the chest as well, since, yeah, it's a wish dragon now, and they grant wishes. I don't know their gender. The person hasn't mentioned their name to me yet. They just showed me the character, and I said, can I draw it for you? And they said yes, and I recently asked them if I could modify the reference, and they said yes as well. So I've decided to modify the original colors. So that's how they are now a wish dragon. Yeah. Oh, and since the reference has it, I also added the little belly circle that they had. So it looks like it doesn't look bland, because it looks bland without any like color on the body. So for the fingers, I decided, yeah, I'm gonna add some of those orange for the fingers, and on the back of the fingers I added a little spot. It's not visible yet, because I haven't done the backside yet at this point, but you will see it that I sneakily added it. So I finally set the guideline for the backside, and I needed like some lines to prevent the color from going into the tail and into the wings. And it went into the wings, so I closed the wings off as well. And I see this little like line jutting out, so I colored that in. And for the backside, I decided to add nothing because I think it looks good without anything behind it. Even though I guess it could look cool, but for now, nah. And now while I'm drawing the fingers, you'll see I sneakily added a little dot there. You can see that I've added a little dot. So yeah, now we move onto the tail. I decided to do the back first since I had the guideline all set up and I didn't want to mess with the symmetry tool. So first I decided to color the tails, and there's that line again, so I had to fill it in again. And I decided to make it tri-colored because that's fun. It looks good, and yeah, it's now tri-colored. Now we move on to the wings, and I also wanted to make the wings tri-colored, but I didn't know how, so I just did the tips of the wings, which is kind of hard since the line art was too thin, but I managed to make everything happen. And I kind of regret not like having the symmetry tool in the middle, because this coloring process would have been so much easier. And now that I'm looking at it again, I should have added some of that orange to like the seam of the wing, like the beginning, so it looks good, which I'll add in post. I already sent the finished product to the person, and I'll just tell them that I added this little detail, even though there's no more guidelines that I can follow, unfortunately. So finally, I switch over to the front side, so I could do the wings there, and they're also tri-colored, same as the tail. The tail is also tri-colored. So yeah, I basically kept everything like symmetrical and such. After I've colored the tail, I put the symmetry tool back where the guidelines are, and I start deleting the guidelines and working on the background and the writing. So I just wrote a few things, and I added one in post. You will see the end result which one I added. But yeah, I just added like basic details like 5 fingers, 2 tails, 2 wings, little wing nubs, tail nubs, and all that the reference has. I changed them to like little tips, so it doesn't look like, you know. So yeah, the previous sketches for this dude were kind of bad when it came to the tail, so I had to redo it, but luckily now it looks good. And now I move on to the background, and the background has the same process as every single background I've ever done, which is me randomly slapping colors, just making circles, and smearing it all until it makes like a little twist. And so while I was bordering, please tell me how to border in Ibis Paint. I realized I haven't colored the back leg's feet, so I had to move the symmetry tool back to where the back side is, which, remember, there are no guidelines for this one because I didn't put any sharp edge on the original sketch, so I had to like improvise, and I just added this little orange line, and that's basically it. So I accidentally did something else instead of lowered the opacity for the background, and that's basically it. Thanks for watching, and see y'all later.